Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Gators Insider, presented by Talon Wealth. With our Gators Insider, Scott Carter, I'm Sean Kelley. We're looking back at Saturday's game at Ole Miss. The Gators fell to 3-7 overall on the year, 2-5 in SEC play as they fell to the Rebels 34-24. Ole Miss still in the hunt for the college football playoff and remain near the top of the standings in the SEC with an overall record now of 10-1 and an SEC record of 6-1. There were a lot of storylines to unpack from this Saturday. Scott, where do you want to start unpacking all that happened in Oxford?
Well, Sean, I'll start with the obvious one first. This was being called the Kiffin Bowl by fans and media. Lane Kiffin was the center of attention with his name out there in the coaching world. Where is he going to stay at Ole Miss? Is he going to Florida? Is he going to the NFL? So as that played out as the backdrop, it was a festive Saturday night in Oxford. And when it first started, it didn't look very festive for Florida. Ole Miss scores on those first two possessions. The Gators go 3 and out, and you're sitting there wondering where this is going. But I think Florida responded well and made it a game, Sean, a lot better game than a lot of people thought. So by the end of the Kiffin Bowl, I think everybody was kind of like took a deep breath and surprised at what they saw in some ways from the Gators.
No doubt. There was a lot of bend and don't break for the Gators defense. It allowed them to keep it a one-score game through the first two quarters.
It did, and then, of course, the big play was the Jaden Woods interception after Florida makes it 10-7 on DJ's run. The next drive, Jaden Woods picks off Trinidad Chambliss, and suddenly he returns at 25 yards, and the Gators have the ball deep in Ole Miss territory. They punch it in behind the Jaden Barr run. And at the time, Florida's leading 14-10. And Sean, not only did I expect that, I don't think any of the 68,000 in attendance expected.
No, there was this stunned feeling, of course, in Oxford with the way the game was playing out in the first half. Not just that T.J. Abrams' big catch of 47 yards, but then the 57-yard reception for a touchdown for J. Michael Sturdivant. It was his second of the year. J. Mike was a captain for the Gators in the game, and it looked like Lagway and the offense had found their rhythm and were taking shot plays and finding success.
Yeah, that was the kind of DJ Lagway throw that we saw a lot last year at the end of the season when the Gators went on that run of success. And J. Michael Sturdivant ran under the ball and outran the Ole Miss defender to the end zone for 57 yards. It's 21-17. The Gators quickly answered after Ole Miss had taken a 17-14 lead. And at that point, I remember tweeting, I did not expect a shootout here tonight, but it felt like that's where we were headed at that point in the game. But a big throw by DJ, and that's the kind of throw, Sean, that just makes you think about what kind of potential he has.
Yes, that big play Lagway that we saw a year ago as he kind of emerged onto the scene. That shootout kind of ground to a halt. No scoring on either side in the third quarter. Both teams had their chances, but it was the fourth quarter that was decisive in the ball game.
Yes, Kejuan Lacey, the Ole Miss running back, 224 yards on 31 carries. He took over the game down the stretch. And Florida's defense, I thought, played well to contain him to only 2 scores. But I give the credit to Ole Miss's defense. Florida had 223 yards in the first half, only 103 after halftime. So you got to kind of tip your cap there to Pete Golding and his staff on the Ole Miss defense. And that was the difference in the game. They shut the Gators out and win 34-24.
Individually, we can't ignore Miles Graham. He had a career-high 9 tackles in the game, 2 tackles for loss, including 1 inside the Gators' 5-yard line. He was outstanding. He continues to emerge as one of the great stories for the Florida defense.
Miles Graham is a tough guy because he was a game-time decision, and he goes out there, and I thought he played his best game in a Florida uniform. And he's going to be a building block for whoever this next head coach is. They've got a really good player who has a passion for the Gators.
That's our Gators insider, Scott Carter. I'm Sean Kelley. 34-24, number 6 Ole Miss defeats Florida. Thanks again for watching.